All righty. It says we're live. Let me see if I can maximize the screen. I see people and I see live. Do I see the chat? Okay, hold on a second. How do I maximize? Exit solo layout. No, we're going to leave it like this. People, this is a first. All right, I think it's a first, at least for me. Can you all hear me? Or can any of you hear me? Let me see what we're doing here. I am glad Viva Fry still has family in Canada to keep him coming back to this great country, says Kenzie Kraken. Let me know if you can hear me. I am not going to be able to double check if we're live across all platforms. Use the frog. Yes. Excellent. Now we're going to put this down here. Hold on. Oh, shoot. The biggest disaster that could happen today is that I drop the tripod with the iPhone into the lake. But I'm a smart dude. Maybe. We'll see. And I put the bobber on the back of the fishing rod. Tons of lag, but audio is okay. Well, we're going to probably have to live with that because the internet up here has been very much subpar. Is this going to stay? This looks very, very... Let's try this. Got some sweat in my eye. Okay. We can bend that up there. Good. Gonna tie this down here. Bend it up here. All right. Okay. This might work, people. Audio is fine. Hear you loud and clear. Perfect. Well, unfortunately, if we can't get good video, we're going to lack a little bit. Okay, straighten this out and go like this. Okay, here we go. That's a little too low. Hold on. Get the Scotty phone. No, that's way crooked. Okay, like this and like this. Here we go. Okay, good. Viva view is gorgeous. It's magnificent. All right, so I'm going to paddle for a little bit just to get to the good part. It's this camera right here. This is going to be like Viva on the streets, except it's going to be Viva on the lake. The internet looks fine. Potato, nice. Yeah, well, the internet up in Canada has been so bad that it's almost unusable. But I thought maybe if I'm out on the lake, the internet would be better. I'd have more access to the satellites. Okay, I'm going to paddle out just a few minutes while people trickle in, and then I'm going to we're going to fish and talk. Holy cow, people! It's July 4th. Happy Independence Day, Viva, says MK. I don't know if I'll be able to see the chat in locals or anywhere else except what's coming through on. I defaulted to StreamYard today, and it's a stupid thing because I should be broadcasting from the other side of the moon, I see. Hold on, the internet will clear. Give it a few seconds. It's Independence Day, people. I'll show you what I'm wearing to celebrate the day in a second. I'm going to go a little bit past my favorite fishing spot, and we're going to go fishing and talk law, politics, summertime stuff. It's a shame if the internet is going to show a potato video. Everybody who is obsessive compulsive, live streaming on a live stream, says Ginger Ninja. Ginger, I can't see if we're live in locals. I hope we are. If anybody suffers from addiction, like gambling addiction or obsessive personality, you may not want to discover a website predicted.org. Hold on, so we don't lose the thing. Predicted.org is like the stock market for politics, for, I think, sporting, but I don't really care about that. And I have been obsessively refreshing and checking. I have not yet started waking up in the middle of the night and looking at an iPhone in the middle of the night because my wife always tells me the blue light from an iPhone is very bad. Don't worry about the shark. Yeah, I'm not on the ocean, people. Biggest thing I think we have in here would be, I suspect there are sturgeon in here because this is the Canadian side of Lake Champlain. Okay, there's waves. Hold on. So you can hear the audio fine as I paddle. Is that cool? Well, you haven't really lived then. Okay, let me know if you can hear the audio fine as I paddle. No snakes. There's no snake here. In fact, there's only garter snakes up here. Back in Canada, and I haven't seen any snakes, any turtles, although I know that there are. And beautiful lake. It's amazing. I'll show you how to get going. So it's getting a little green algae-ish. The Canadian side of Lake Champlain, for those of you who don't know, is extremely shallow, extremely flat. So there's not very many natural, what's the word, structure under the bottom. And they set up a, what's it called when you, a causeway to block off or to set up a bridge on the American side. And from what I understand, when they set up that causeway, it sort of stagnated the Canadian side of the Lake Champlain. And with the runoff fertilizer, nitrates, that's what it is, phosphates, not nitrates, phosphates from farming. You're live on Locals and Rumble. Audio is pretty good. Video, not great, but we're here, says Ginger Ninja. Okay, amazing. The phosphates run off into the water. They cause algae bloom, green algae, red algae, yellow algae, I don't know. They cause algae blooms. And so sometimes it gets pretty nasty out here in terms of like the water ends up looking like orbits. Let's see if I'm not real. Oh, you know what I can do here? Watch this. Okay. So far I've paddled out a fair distance. We're going to drift. I can sort of tinker with this here. This is the water, and you can see it sort of looks brownish, but that might have just been because it was windy yesterday and churned up a bunch of the bottom. And we're going to fish. Now, here it is, people. It's 4 July. Kayaks. That would be problematic. If you're on our Locals community, you've already seen it in my American flag Crocs, which I did with my American flag my American flag shorts. That was also a birthday gift. And I'm going to be fishing today. Let's see where I can put this. Yeah, I'm going to be fishing today with my Made in America American flag fishing rod. Now, the irony is that I am in Canada, and going to be bouncing around. It's going to be an amazing summer in terms of a lot of road tripping travel, because next week I'm attending something that Rebel News is putting on, like a journalist sort of conference for 25 journalist students, and going to talk for a bit, hang out there, and head down to Milwaukee for the RNC, the Republican National Committee, where they're going to, I believe, is Trump waiting for the RNC to announce his VP pick? Because I've placed a wager, a small, respectable wager of principle. Let me just make sure I don't lose this. On DJ Vance, JD Vance, DJ Vance. DJ Vance is going to be what he does. Well, so I placed a little wager on JD Vance, and I had a wager on Vivek, and I cashed out of that a little bit. All right, people, we're still in meltdown mode from the presidential debate. We'll get to that in a second. Here, don't think it's all American-centric today. We're fishing with the American flag using the Len Thompson number 0. This is the perfect size. Len Thompson number 0. Red and white. Not the red, white, and blue. The red and white. Best lure ever for pike. Made in Canada. Len Thompson makes amazing stuff. Heart tackle made in America. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me just show you what I do here. Just so you know that I'm as a responsible fisherman. First of all, I got my license. I clip off one of the barbs, and I pinch in the trebles, because there's only so much firepower you need when fishing. If you're not going to fish to catch and eat, you want to maximize the odds of being able to put the fish back. But if the fish is mortally wounded, we're going to eat it. And now we're going to play the drift and fish game while we talk news and politics. Okay, first cast. Are we going to catch a fish? Oh, hold on a second. Gotta finish up telling you everything I come with. So you gotta have pliers out here. These are the pliers with which I clip off the barb and clip off the treble and pinch in the barb. Should probably, yeah, let me clip this to my bag. And for those of you who don't know, you cannot lip pike, and I don't have a net, so I have appropriated a very wonderful gardening glove in case I need to hold a pike and remove a hook. Bada bing, bada boom. Trump Vance 2024 says Janie Cavender. It's I mean, I saw anybody who's in our Viva barneslaw.locals.com community knows of Barnes's insights. Anybody who watches the Sunday show knows of Barnes' insights on this. Tim Scott at one point was the first cast, was the leading candidate. It's still going, by the way. Oh yeah, I just changed the fishing line and now it casts smooth. Tim Scott was the leading candidate for a while in terms of who Trump was going to pick for VP. We like to think that we've got a bit of an ear to the ground and some not moles in the Trump campaign, but look, this is not a patting on the back at all. I think it's more Barnes's big brains than my manic energy. But, you know, Alex Jones watches us, and we know that there's people within the Trump camp who are watching us, you know, talk and hypothesize, and who look to Barnes, or at least appropriate Barnes's information, Barnes's insights. And Robert's opinion is that, and this is the opinion of a great many people out there, that what's the analogy to JFK and LBJ? That having Tim Scott on the ticket would be the equivalent of JFK putting LBJ on the ticket, as in it ensures destruction. It ensures that Trump is no longer president within the first year of his presidency, because Tim Scott is everything the deep state would want in a president. And to the extent that the vice president is, as they say, and as Kamala Harris knows very well, one heartbeat away from the presidency. I just saw a butterfly beeline into the water, effectively committing suicide. To the extent that the VP is one heartbeat away, well, the deep state would love to have Tim Scott, deep state asset extraordinaire, in the VP position. And so Barnes's theory, mine as well, that you need to have deep state removal insurance, which Tim Scott is not. Vivek Ramaswamy would be, but apparently Vivek was not with Trump at the debate, and therefore, when Trump said, "I'll be taking my VP pick with me to the debate," he took a number of people, but Vivek was not one of them. So Vivek, I think, is now off the selection scale. I saw Jeremy from The Quartering put out a tweet that it was a screen grab of Michael Flynn's some sort of filing, where the hypothesis was that, yeah, here we go, I saw General Flynn might be Paula Harvey. I saw that too. I saw The Quartering post that. Look, whatever. If we're relying on Trump's word, I don't think Michael Flynn was at the debate. I'm not sure how feasible an option Michael Flynn would be for VP pick. But I think JD Vance is the best, obviously. Now I don't have a vested interest in saying that. I bet on JD because I think he's the best, and Vivek. And those two. Now, the older gentleman, Doug Burgum. Doug Burgum, who would bring as much energy to the Trump presidential ticket as klezmer music to whatever. I can't think of a good analogy. Doug Burgum, I'm sure, is a good guy. There are some people hypothesizing that Burgum is also, if not deep state connected, at the very least, maybe a favorite or a preferred candidate of Bill Gates. That Jack Posobiec, who I rely on, who also puts out good information out there, put out a tweet showing Doug Burgum, apparently, I don't know, selling lands or agreeing to Bill Gates buying up a bunch of farmland in North Dakota. Setting that aside, Doug Burgum is by no means insurance for Trump. And I appreciate that people say you don't want a VP pick who's going to outshine, I think I just had a pipe, who's going to outshine the president. You also don't want a VP pick who's going to put people to sleep. So JD Vance is young, energetic, gets the Midwest vote, wrote an amazing book, The Hillbilly Effigy, or Elegy? The Hillbilly Elegy, not Effigy. What an idiot I am. And I like JD. We had him on the channel. Had JD on the channel, Joe Kemp. Carrie Lake. Okay, so that's that. That's that. Let me see here. Is there a way? Oh, Star, look at this. I can go and I can actually highlight these. Flynn's military experience would protect Trump from any attempts to dispose of him, says David Potter. I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to actually have Flynn on the channel. That would be amazing. But I'm not sure about that. Anyhow, that's it. So I think JD Vance is the good pick. There's a few other ones that are good. Who are the other big names? Oh, not Marco Rubio. I forgot the name. Scroll down here. Okay, this is cool. Are you casting into the open water? Go near shore where there's some underwater structure. That's where the fish will be, says Dave123. Well, I'm certainly drifting out further than I thought I'd be, but I don't actually fish to catch fish. I'm way too far from the shore. All right, we're going to paddle back for a second. That's the latest with JD Vance and the picks. Go to predicted.org and you can see all these things. It's amazing. The blowout or the fallout that's still falling and still blowing is Biden's disastrous performance and the panic that has ensued. It's amazing, by the way. In real time, and I put out the tweets. In real time, as of the night of the debate, Biden went from 87 cents and at one point peaked, I say peaked as low as 59 cents. That is to say, he went from 87% likely to be the presidential candidate for the Democrats to 59%. That was the night of the debate. Since then, he has peaked as low as 29%. And the question has become, who the heck could or would replace him? This is where Barnes has had, again, some amazing insight. And Barnes's position is that to the extent that Joe Biden is alive and breathing, doesn't even have to be cognitively capable. Joy Reid has put out a wonderful video showing just how unhinged and irrational they are. He doesn't even have to be cognitively capable. So long as he's got a heartbeat and fits the criteria, I mean, I presume that would be not susceptible of the 25th Amendment, they'll vote for him. The Democrats, it's amazing. They literally went from Joe Biden is going to clean, I think the expression was clean the clock, or he's going to use Trump to, he's going to clean Trump's clock in the debate. Oh, they can't wait for the debate. Joe Biden is going to humiliate and embarrass Trump and make him look like a senile old man. Oh my goodness, the things that they were saying. And then it went from Joe's going to clean Trump's clock to Obama, who everyone suspects and might have good damn reason to believe is behind all of this, or at least Obama's deep state, because Obama is still a figurehead or still a tool to the deep state, that the administrative state that was propping Obama up, propped Obama up and put him in power. Obama tweets out one bad debate night doesn't dictate anything. All right, cool. Went from Biden's going to kick ass to one bad night is not the big problem to Joy Reid and a number of other paid operatives. They'll vote for a brain dead Biden because the alternative is literally Hitler. I mean, they're literally saying this. Go to Twitter and put in the words Trump Hitler, and you're going to see it's the talking point is out. The talking point is out. Let me scroll all the way down here. And so it went from Biden's going to win to Biden had a bad night to I'm voting for a demented Biden because it's either a demented Biden or Hitler. In the meantime, there has been chaos among the party. And, Tim Pool reports on it. It's all over the news. The Democrats calling emergency meetings to figure out how they're going to deal with the fact that Democrat governors are calling for Biden to step aside, step down, be removed from the ticket. The voters, I mean, even CNN and MSNBC, and this is how you know. Oh, I try not. I'm not going to draw the line as Democrats versus Republicans, but there's a bit of a trend. I'll say red pill versus blue pill. People who still trust the government, I believe they're paid operatives. Like, it's not organic on Twitter. Now devouring their own, in that the Biden supporters are now literally going after the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, saying that they've turned on Trump and they are traitors. They've turned on Biden and they are traitors. I mean, New York Times running pieces that, Biden's a problem. Wall Street Journal before the debate, I think it was before the debate, putting out op-eds or pieces that Biden's cognitive decline is undeniable and it's a problem. And after the debate, CNN analysts, MSNBC analysts are flipping out. Okay, I'm going to let it sink for 5 seconds. Actually, I haven't been doing that. Let it sink. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there's been panic among the Democrats, like overt, outrageous panic. And then the question becomes, let me see here. Okay. The question then becomes, who would replace Biden? And we've talked about this during the Sunday show. Barnes has talked about it during Bourbon with Barnes. There are real logistical issues in terms of replacing Biden, because though there might be an argument for the funds that Biden for president has raised being transferred to Kamala, if he steps aside and, endorses her, there's a legal question as to whether or not those monies could go to Kamala because they were raised for Biden, or whether or not they have to be reimbursed to all of the donors. And then who was it? The Heritage Foundation. They recently said, I don't know who the Heritage Foundation is. I can't pretend to know the consequence of who the Heritage Foundation is, but they come out and they say they're going to make it very, very difficult to replace Biden. And so, you've got, what you're witnessing is literally the cognitive dissonance smacking reality in real time, where you had people who are so delusional, so unhinged, that they were convincing themselves before the debate that the demented, senile old man was going to clean Trump's clock. And then when it doesn't happen, they try to say it's just one bad night. And then when they realize that it's not one bad night, they then have to convince themselves, well, I've got to vote for the demented buffoon in as much as he has a heartbeat and is on the ticket, because it's either the demented, senile old buffoon who allegedly showers with his daughter, who yielded a crackhead son for whatever the reason, whose crackhead son now seems to have a position on the committee, the advisory committee to Joe Biden, as if there's no conflict of interest there. We'll get there in a second. They've gone from, they have to rationalize how they're going to vote for Biden regardless. And they're doing it. But Gretchen Whitmer and the other one, Pete Buttigieg, they come out and say, when their stock starts rising, they have to come out and reassure now they're on Team Biden. Gavin Newsom, I'm on Team Biden. They've coalesced behind the corpse. This is Weekend at Bernie's President Edition, and they realize that they can't get rid of Biden that easily. They can't replace Biden that easily. And if Kamala replaces Biden, they're going to lose even harder than if the corpse has a heartbeat. Biden is still in there. Let me see what Ginger Ninja says. If Biden is not the Democrat nominee, there will be no Dem on the Ohio ballot. Biden was already certified in Ohio. The ballot cannot be changed. That's another one of the arguments. Or what was it that they can promise to pledge the delegates to whoever the vote for Biden, and how do I turn this off? Vote for Biden, and we promise to pledge the delegates to whoever the Democrat nominee is. So it's a cluster. I'll say it's a fustercluck. And Kamala Harris's stock at one point was near 50%. She was, and I think might still be, according to Vegas markets, more likely than Joe Biden to be the presidential candidate for the Democrats. Okay, that's really annoying. How do I stop that? Like that. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that. Hold on, I'm gonna turn it on there. Yeah, there's no alligators in Canada, Kenzie Kraken. Absolutely not. Damn, Viva. What a great. Hold on. Please tell me you are not fishing in alligator-infested waters. No, I'm not. I'm up in Canada, so no alligators here. Although there are pike with very sharp teeth. If you saw the size of the pike and the sharpness of the teeth, you'd think twice before skinny dipping in these waters. But so it is. Kamala Harris, apparently, according to at least some Vegas odds, I don't know how old they are, was favored to be the presidential nominee for the Democrats over Joe Biden. I have now since taken the position that I'm convinced by Barnes that they're going to keep Biden alive, and there will probably not be a second debate, or the deep fake, a real deep fake of a second debate. I'm joking. And they got to keep Kamala out of the replacement, but because I still don't think Biden is going to be on the ticket, but I don't know when he's going to drop out. If it's after he gets the nomination, whatever. But if he drops out, there's going to be a feeding frenzy among the Democrats, among Gretchen Whitmer, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris. It's going to be a feeding frenzy, and you might want to follow all of those predicted odds to see the fighting happen in real time. All right, Viva, why aren't you celebrating America? Well, I presume you mean in America, Lulu Fume. I had to come by and see family up in Canada. Although we were thinking maybe we would head over the border to witness some fireworks tonight, but I don't know that that's going to happen. Not exactly sure what's going to happen. Anyway, okay, so that's the latest. The funniest thing in the world, and I'm probably going to put out a short vlog on this afterwards. You all saw the viral video of Trump. That was an undercover video, or undercover, I should say. It was a secret, or apparently a surreptitious recording of Trump at a golf course with Barron Trump in a golf course. I'm going to cast this way. And it captures Trump talking about the debate. You know, Trump, I don't know that he knows that he was being recorded, but this, in my view, makes Trump look so good. Part of me wants to believe that this is some marketing campaign to get the lefty, capital D Democrat, blue checkmark idiot, frothing at the mouth, raging TDS victims to start sharing this video, which they think makes Trump look bad, but to any rational person makes Trump look like the most human person on earth. Trump's in a golf cart with Barron Trump. I don't know. I think they are just starting their game because they were heading off. So I think they were just starting their game. And Trump tips the people who put the golf carts on the golf clubs on the back of the cart, or takes them off, I don't know, and is talking about the debate. Says, how did I do in the debate? And they say, you did good, you did good. And then he refers to Biden as like a broken old wreck, and he's going to drop out, and he made him drop out, and Kamala's an effing, joke, and she's going to replace him, and it's the end of the Democrats. And then he thanks them, gives them a healthy tip from what I can tell, and drives off. It seems to be an undercover recording. So, or the guy recorded it and then posted it. But my goodness, if there was some guerrilla marketing and guerrilla viral marketing, this is how you'd want to do it. So everybody should take notes. But I don't think Trump would do that type of stuff. The Democrats are absolutely losing it on this video, thinking it makes Trump look like some of them, it's insane. Calling him a piece of shit. Look at this, never near the White House. I watched that video. I see a man, who's playing golf, period, at 79, still good. And playing well, from what I understand. B, playing golf, engaging in a 5-hour, 4.5-hour sport with his son. Already something that not everybody does. Am I up to C or 3? C, 3. Tipping the staff generously. Let me go this way. 4, D, spot on with his political analysis. And I think nothing about this video makes Trump look bad, and I don't understand how the unhinged lefties are flipping out, thinking that this somehow makes Trump look terrible. And it's hilarious because it's gone wicked viral. Everybody who likes Trump says this makes him look great. Everybody who doesn't like Trump, I don't know, they could see a stick figure drawn on a piece of paper with someone telling them it represents Trump, and they would have a visceral reaction to the stick figure. It's a quasi bad religion response. I'm letting this sink for 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now we're going to bring it back slowly. Just got to make sure not to bash this into the water. That would be a very upsetting thing. Like the people saying that this makes Trump look bad, they're already, and that they're just pathological TDS patients. But I think it makes Trump look phenomenal in all respects. It makes him look so phenomenal. I suspect, or think that this could be like a double fakie. Maybe the guy released it because he thinks it makes Trump look good. But it's like an honest moment where, if you believe that Trump doesn't know that he's being recorded. He's a total gentleman, generous with the staff, socializing with humans in a way that Biden never could, at least not at this point in his life. and playing golf with his son, who is not a corrupt criminal crackhead who arguably engages in interstate sex trafficking. So that's that. Do I want to change up lures? Oh, you know what I should have done, which I didn't do? I should be fishing with a leader, but I'm not. I'm going to go a little closer to shore. Let me see what's going on here. Trump said that what we all say, not just what he said, what we all said. It was a legit, he wasn't even that crass. I mean, he didn't use the C word when referring to Kamala. Like if he had you know, they caught him and he calls Kamala the C word. And no, I'm not referring to classy. If he had called her that, I could understand people flipping out. Like, I don't think there would not be. I have no doubt that a lot of people use the C word in private and even in public, and I don't think that's a cancelable offense. Although it's not a word that I would use. I think there's only really one word in the English language that's just absolute outright taboo. But it wasn't even that. He didn't even call her a bitch. Like, he didn't call her the C word. He didn't call her a B word. He said I think she called her a fucking disaster, which Kamala is an effing disaster. She is the dumbest bag of rocks that you could imagine, period. Did you all see the video of the going viral? Someone's going to have to get the exact quote in the chat. You have to become detached from what could be. What was that viral video coming along? What was the video not coming along? That went out there. You have to be unmoored or unanchored from what could be and look forward to what can be. Viva Fry is one of the biggest Trudeau guys I know. All right, well, that's good. Viva. What does it say here? Let me see this here. You are by far the most well-spoken person I have ever seen on YouTube. Cheers from Cape Coral. Well, thank you very much, Rob W. I hope the person... unburdened from the past. Oh my god. The thing is, I'm going to go a little closer to shore, and then people are going to think I'm batshit crazy. Unburdened. She's the dumbest person on the face of the planet. And I'm not saying this to be mean, and I am not a misogynist, and there's no but, and I don't give a sweet bugger all if anyone calls me a misogynist for this, because it applies equally to men as it does to women. I am fortunate enough to never have had the good misfortune or even the opportunity to rely on my looks for anything. I'm realistic, people. I'm not the ugliest person on earth, but I am by no means someone who could get by rely on my physical appearance for anything. And I think it's a bit of a blessing and a curse. People who are too good looking for their own good, too beautiful for their own good. I'm not saying Kamala is too beautiful for her own good. I'm sure that once upon a time, she was beautiful and young and used those assets for political profit. One asset that don't think anyone's going to accuse Kamala Harris of ever having used and abused for political profit, her brain. She's an idiot. And the problem, I say, like, being a beautiful specimen of a human is a blessing and a curse. Because even if you are an absolute genius and you are the smartest person and most insightful person in the world, if you're too handsome or you're too beautiful, people will never look past that. And, you know, I remember at one point I was on Twitter and there was an athlete, marathon runner, I think. Amazing athlete who achieved, I don't know who it was and I will never remember unless I go Google my tweets at the time. No, it was in a YouTube video. And the athlete who's attained extraordinary accomplishments, but also happens to be a wildly beautiful, incredibly beautiful woman. And, you know, people make a joke about her body, how good her body is when she's talking about her accomplishments as a marathon runner. I'm like, how demeaning is that? It's like the show us your boobies type thing where, like, person could be the best athlete, greatest chess player, but if they're good, Liz Burry, who watches poker? Liv Burry, sorry, not Liz. Liv Burry, a poker player. Beautiful. Now, why can I compliment Liv Burry? Anybody who knows poker will know who she is. I feel morally justified in complimenting and commenting on the beauty of Liv Burry because she looks a lot like my wife. And so when I compliment Liv Burry or Russell Brand's wife in the movie Get Him to the Greek, she was also in Bridesmaids. Whenever I talk about that actress, I'm talking about my wife as well. Anyway, all that to say, physical beauty is a blessing and a curse. because it allows you to achieve things, but it also allows you to achieve things, and it also causes people to suspect why you achieve things, because they always revert to your good looks, and it applies equally to men as it does to women. It's a very long-winded rant of saying Kamala Harris is dumb as a bag of rocks, unburdened. What, do you think you fell out of a coconut tree? You are a product of everything that was and will be. I mean, she's dumber than fortune cookies. Like, she's more vapid than the most inane fortune cookie. I forgot what the hell the point of all of this was. What the hell was the point? What was I talking about? Viva has more integrity and morality than. I'm not reading that. I trust Barnes enough to babysit my kids, and there's no greater compliment that I can put on someone than saying, my major test, would I let them babysit my kids? Barnes can babysit my kids anytime, and he can teach them about fine whiskeys and fine cigars. All right, so what else was there? So the meltdown. Trump is an actual gentleman, even when he doesn't know that he's being recorded, and everyone wants to go back to that stupid Access Hollywood tape. I love people, but I hate stupid. I don't even hate stupid people. I hate malicious people. And when that Access Hollywood tape came out, and people were saying Trump admitted he sexually assaulted women, and I hadn't heard it yet, and I'm like, holy crap, really? He's like gonna say, oh, I R'd that B, oh, I grabbed. And then I listened to the video, and I realized that when it comes to certain fields of practice and certain professions, there are just statistical overrepresentation of fiends and scoundrels. And politics is one, and media is another, and not influencers, but those who take to political misinformation and disinformation online are the other. Getting a little pissed off here. I really should be catching at least one fish. And I have this debate with people. I've had this debate with a number of people. Roger Stone never used the C word. Yes, he said, see you next Tuesday, but he never used the C word. And if it were not a material difference, he would have just told the truth in the first place. Trump never said that he sexually assaulted anybody. He was describing the insidious, immoral, unethical, satanic cesspool that is Hollywood, where if you are a rich and powerful man, they will let you do whatever. You can just go in and grab them by the poo-poo. Not the poo-poo, that's really gross. By the punan, and they let you do it. And that was the undercover recording that they had on Trump, that they said, oh, he admitted to sexual assault. And then these scoundrels go and turn the lawfare system against him so they can get him found liable of sexual abuse. And then when they wanted the R word, they find a disgusting, corrupt judge to adjudicate that it's the equivalent of the R word that they didn't get him on. But he didn't even know that he was being recorded, and he's a pure gentleman, and it's fantastic. Holly movie star says about that, he said they let you, implying consent. Well, true, but he was saying they, and it wasn't a you like they let me, because then he would have said I go in and I grab him. He says they let you do it. And if Harvey Weinstein saga taught us anything, there will be debates as to whether or not it was consensual, and in some cases guaranteed it was not consensual, but there will be other circumstances where there will be an argument as to whether or not it was consensual, maybe pressured, maybe, I say, not extorted, since that would be criminal. But there might be a lot of people who knowingly made a deal with the devil, thinking that that success would bring them happiness. And, they could say it was whatever exploitation afterwards. But when you're rich and you're powerful, they will let you, and there will be some people out there who, on the other receiving end, will say, and we do it because we get something out of it as well, financial rewards, professional ladder climbing, and whatever. But the scoundrels out there who are trying to not just, it started off with just trying to demonize Trump. And then they really went into trying to lock him up, bankrupt him, and destroy his life and that of his family. Okay, we're going to paddle up front a little bit here. So, yeah, that's what's going on there. I'm waiting for Biden to drop out and the fighting to hit epic proportions. Because I don't think, like, I've placed a long shot bet on Hillary Clinton. I don't think she's going to win, but if Biden drops out, there's going to be fighting that's going to bump up everyone's stock, and they're going to fight, because I don't think Hillary has given up on her dream just yet. I don't care that people say she's the most detested person in politics. I don't think she's given up on her dream just yet. How do I do this? Oh, I'm only seeing the comments. You could lose your hand grabbing Fanny. Oh, and then so like with the other news of what's going on. I haven't been following the Young Thug case. I haven't followed Young Thug in a while. What's the other news? Karen Reed, hung jury, and so I've been following that, but I mean I can't purport to be following that case as closely as those who've been live streaming it day in and day out. Emily D. Baker, among others. So like there are others with thorough expertise in that case, but I've been following it, and we'll talk about it on Sunday. But hung jury in the Karen Reed case. And apparently, the prosecution, after issuing their public statements, has vowed to re-prosecute Karen Reed. And apparently, the Boston Police Force, or whatever it is there, they've announced internal investigations into at least one of the police officers involved in that case as a result of evidence of corruption that was exposed during testimony during the trial. So in as much as I've been following that case, and from what I have understood and surmise, I appreciate the prosecution now says they're going to re-prosecute Karen Reed. I would put money, especially if I'm getting good odds on it, that they're not going to re-prosecute Karen Reed, and that this investigation, which has now been launched as a result of incriminating evidence or corruption that has been exposed during testimony, they're not going to re-prosecute Karen Reed, and they might actually discover. Ooh, sorry, I thought I saw something there. They might actually discover who was responsible for the death there. But that was the latest in that. I was driving back from the Laurentian Mountains on verdict watch, and they announced the hung jury that they didn't announce the apportionment of what percentage of the jury was convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that she was guilty, and which was convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that they would never finding of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And they wrote a nice memo to the judge saying that we're at an impasse. Some of us believe that they've met the burden, and others do not believe it. And none of us can meet in the middle or compromise without violating our core beliefs of innocence and or guilt. And they declared a hung jury. So we don't know what number it was. And from what I understand, at least what from lawyers with practice in the field say, you could deduce a lot from knowing that apportionment of how many people believed guilt and how many people were not convinced of guilt and not going to budge on it. What's amazing, this was my thought about that case, actually, or at least that hung jury, that the likelihood that you would have browbeating, shaming, insidious pressuring on the holdouts to bend one way or the other, it's a non-political case. And when it's a non-political case, it's just funny how you could rely on the fact that, given the fact that it's apolitical, non-political, it was even less political than the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. To the extent that politics is not involved, you could reasonably predict that there would be less threats, coercion for a conviction or for an acquittal. I mean, an acquittal for like a Michael Sussman type case, or a conviction for like the Donald Trump Alvin Bragg 34 charge felony indictment corrupt Judge Juan Marchand case. So that was Karen Reed. We'll see what happens. I don't have as thorough an understanding as others who live stream that trial day in and day out. But I'll bet and predict that she's not going to get retried, because from what I understood from that trial, egregious corruption exposed in the context of that trial. And I don't know how they re-prosecute, given the fact that they would not be able to, what is the word? In French, it's lacune. They would not be able to rectify the weaknesses in the evidence that exists in that case, even on a retrial. So That's my prediction. We'll see if I look smart or stupid, or I can at least claim ignorance if I'm wrong in the future. I'm joking. All right, but the other big news. Just go down here and make sure we're at the bottom here. Oh, I saw something about Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch says his good source says Biden will resign next week. Well, crap, don't make me go change my bets. Biden resigns and then what, appoints? He can't nominate Kamala. And if he does that, the infighting is going to be monumental. I actually think if he resigns, Kamala's chances of becoming the presidential pick go down because you're going to have Whitmer, Newsom, and all the others. And as detestable as Gavin Newsom is, he's still more likable than Kamala Harris. Okay, we'll see. Anyhow, I think we've milked that Holstein, or at least we've talked about that enough. What was I about to say? Speaking of upcoming trials. Or boy, Alec Baldwin is getting ready for trial July 11th. I think the jury selection starts on, hold on, today's the 4th of July, so add 7 to that. Next week would be the 11th. That's right, 11th. So the trial starts on the 11th. Did I understand that jury selection starts on the 9th? By the way, jury selection starts in the Alec Baldwin trial next week, and I think the trial starts on the 11th, and that probably includes the jury selection. That's going to be one hell of a trial to watch. I'm going to, I'll probably end up live streaming a substantial portion of it. Hold on, do I hear somebody? I'll probably end up live streaming a substantial portion of that, but we'll have to see. All right, now I'm coming up to my lucky spot. There's an antenna that I believe attracts the fish. It's like a cell tower type thing. So we'll see if I can. We're gonna drift back for a little while. Alec Baldwin trial starts. He's got the what was it now? Involuntary manslaughter. Anyhow, we're going by the cell tower, and then I lose reception. The Lawverse is going to be streaming that, and it's going to be one hell of a trial. The question is going to be, will Alec Baldwin testify? It is a long shot in that it is more likely than not that he does not testify, but I'm predicting it now. Alec Baldwin is going to testify because he has given himself no chance. I'm sorry, not no chance, but no option but to testify, given all of his other testimony. He couldn't keep his bloody mouth shut throughout the investigation, throughout that entire debacle. He couldn't keep his mouth shut. And now he is going to have all of those out-of-court statements, his interview with George Stephanopoulos, his roadside interview in Vermont, as evidence that they're going to put in, or at least the prosecution. And he's going to have no choice but to testify, to clarify, remedy, rectify all of his big mouth out-of-court statements. Oh, I never point a gun at a person. No. You don't do that. I know never to do that. No. I would never pull the trigger, you see, because even on a gun, if it's not loaded, when you pull the trigger, you cause damage to the firing pin. And no, I would never do that. But I pointed the gun at someone and pulled the trigger and ended up killing them. No. So I think he has forced himself into testifying, and mark it as a prediction. I'll go see if Predicted's got a market for that. We'll see if I end up being right on that. But that's going to be one hell of a fun trial to watch. Fun in a sick, cynical way. I think I was right on a prediction I made about that they would never finish the movie, even though he had announced that they were going to finish Rust. I don't think they finished it. I have to double check that, actually. Okay, there's a piece of seaweed over here. So I have a feeling we're going to catch a fish. Let's see what we see here. Is it me, or does anyone else feel like Baldwin deserves this for his portrayal of Trump on Saturday Night Live? Whether or not you deserve it, you all know my theory. I believe Alec Baldwin pulled the trigger on purpose, thinking it was a blank gun, or not a starter gun, thinking it was dummy rounds, and thinking, oh, I'll pull the trigger, I'll say it was an accident, I scared her, and she'll learn a lesson, that mouthy woman telling me what to do, and I'm an A-list actor, and she's a director of photography. I think he pulled the trigger on purpose, but thought that it was dummy bullets or blank rounds in there, and that's what happened there. But it is amazing, at least empirically speaking, it seems like those who are filled with Trump derangement syndrome, hate in their heart, invariably run into bad luck. And it might be because they're blinded by hate. It might be because they are consumed and they end up making bad decisions as a result, or it might just be some of that karma in life. You're like, part of me wants to say like it's karma. What's happening to what's his face, Baldwin, because he's just he's a toxic, rage infested, unhinged man to begin with. But you say like it's karma that this should happen to Biden, not to Biden, to Baldwin. But it came at the expense of Helena Hutchins, and not exactly fair that her death, and she should be she should become the victim in Alec Baldwin's cosmic karmic pursuit. So that starts next week. What else is there? Hey Baldwin, do the Trump impersonation. Come on, man. What else? Now let's see. I wish I could access the locals, but I'll have to just have a Viva, a vodka with Viva locals exclusive afterwards. What else is going on in the news in the law world? Up in Canada, God, up in Canada, Trudeau was asked a question. You know, like, you've been in power for 9 years. You've not done what you said you were going to do in your 9 years. When you, do I want to change lures? You know what? I'm going to change here. Hold on, let's just do this. You haven't done what you said you were going to do in 9 years. Isn't it time to step down and, you know, make room for somebody else? Ooh, probably was a good thing I didn't catch a fish on that. Okay, let's go here. Let's switch it up to, what do I want to switch it up to? I got my little Tupperware. I got my Tupperware of lures here. I was using the red, white, and yellow. I think I'm going to go for, yeah. Okay, we're going to go for Len Thompson. This is the number 1. A little bigger, but it's silver on the back, and it's silver on the back, and it's got a little swivel so it doesn't tangle up. For those of you who don't know how to tie a fisherman's knot, wrap it around the line once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I go for another 8. Then you take it, straighten it out, put it through the loop on the bottom. If I could see it, there you go. Hold it, tighten it down, and you've got, the hell? Shoot. Yeah, that's on the internet forever. Viva doesn't know how to tie a bloody fishing knot. He's only been fishing since he was 6 years old. Take me fishing, Dad, I would say. Take me fishing. Okay, let's go here. Okay, I really can't see what's going on in there. There we go. That's better. Now you got your noose here. No, not perfect, but good enough. All right. So Trudeau was asked the question, and he immediately enters a, I don't know, like a 1-minute diatribe of verbal diarrhea. That democracy is under attack. How embarrassing, says Bill Miller. Thoughts on the Rekieta Sonny Chu medallion saga? Well, I don't know what the Sonny Chu nightmare. Tell me what that is. I don't know what the Sonny Chu medallion is. Is that? Although I'm trying to think of where that could possibly go. I'm new to that. And I'm following the Rekieta. I'm following the Rekieta, you know, legal drama. I'm not going to make content on it above and beyond what is absolutely necessary from a legal perspective. It's a very sad story, so I don't know what that is, but let me see here. Kevin Smith. I was commenting on an MSNBC video about that evidence against Trump being overwhelming, and it was amazing how many people didn't realize the charges were for payments made to Cohen after Trump was president. Of course it's amazing. It's amazing what people don't know about anything because they rely on liars to provide them information. All of the payments, first of all, some people think it's like 20 some odd different hush payments to like various people. Some people don't realize that it's one payment. That was, you know, the reason they got 4 charges out of it, because it was the payment, the check, the ledger, the entry. 4 every month, month over month. People don't realize it all occurred in 2017. At least the indictable acts occurred in 2017. It's like, and it's hard to stay informed. It's hard to make sure you know what you're talking about, which is the biggest pressure of doing what it is that we do, at least from my perspective. I don't, maybe other people don't have the same pressure. You need to make sure you understand things, and you need to make sure that you know things. And like, you need to know when you don't know something before, formulating an opinion, but more importantly, before potentially misinforming other people. But the idea of misinforming people who might never even find out that they've been misinformed, it's not a bug of MSM journalism. It's the feature. It's narrative control. It's manufacturing consent. But no, where was I? Oh, yeah, what's his face? Trudeau. Just diarrhea, just verbal diarrhea. Democracy is under attack. It's an amazing thing. They say it unironically and don't understand what a bunch of idiots they are, that they're literally saying if Trump gets reelected, democracy is dead. You have to be thoroughly stupid or thoroughly dishonest to say something like that. Oh, but Hitler got elected too. Yeah. It wasn't the, first of all, he didn't get elected by a majority. There was chicanery afoot in terms of what he was done once he got his foot in the door. But bottom line, there is the expression, you can vote yourself into tyranny, but you can't vote yourself out of it. And we're seeing it, we're right now, that tyranny ain't Trump. And the people proving that you can't necessarily vote your way out of it are the ones trying to fortify elections, are the ones trying to hold off elections, are the ones trying to lambaste and defame anybody who dares vote with their conscience as racist far-right extremists. Marine Le Pen, oh my goodness, Sunday's going to be a big day in France. Is it Saturday? If the chat knows, tell me. I think it's Sunday. Marine Le Pen, who everyone has as maligned as a far-right whatever because of who her father was and what her father said. And I've had this debate with people that I know, love, and sometimes respect, who think that she's a far-right threat to democracy, and and a xenophobe, and an anti-Muslim. First of all, having policies or wanting to support policies that preserve national identity, you can call it nationalism and then try to equate it to Nazism, but the alternative to that is not having a country. And in which case, I would say being a globalist is a more, not a slur, but it's a more serious criticism than being a nationalist. We have countries. I mean, we have families. I'm not a racist or a nationalist because I'm going to first and foremost take care of my family. That's what parents do. That's what fathers do. Now, if you are a politician, I don't like the analogy because it's the communist analogy that, the government is your big brother, your big father. But if you're in the government, your loyalty is to your country, is to the people who you represent, your citizens, and to no one else. It doesn't mean you go out and commit atrocities, but it sure as hell means you don't go out and open up your border because other people in other countries have it worse than you do because their governments suck. That's not raising all boats with the rising tide. That is sinking all boats by opening up the floodgates. Let me get a little closer to my cell tower. So they lambaste and lament that Marine Le Pen is a racist. Christine Anderson is a racist because they want to preserve the national identity that was Europe and Western values. Oh, that's crazy, eh? This is the amazing thing. It's like the people who make those accusations, Europe is racist, xenophobic, anti-Islam, anti-whatever, because it doesn't want to open its borders to foreign ideologies, foreign religions, and whatever. That's racist, that's Islamophobic. But the idea that Islamic countries remain Islamic and that other countries control who gets in along lines which are deemed to be racist, that's okay. You know what that is? Actual exploitation of minorities and of the very same people that they claim others are discriminating against. What's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. It's a very good communist philosophy, or it's a childish philosophy. But Marine Le Pen is kicking ass because finally people are saying enough is enough of sacrificing our country to other countries. Who would I listen? It was Neil Oliver. Neil Oliver. I love him. It doesn't hurt that he's a very, very decent looking man, but his voice and his accent, what he says is just so thoroughly insightful and thoroughly beautiful. You could say it in any accent with any slang or twang, and it would be just as beautiful. He was saying, in Europe, when you're seeing opening of the floodgates, opening of the borders for Syrian refugees, and then people take it out on the Syrian refugees. And he said, look, everybody should be outraged by this, even the Syrian refugees. Why the hell are there Syrian refugees who have to flee their war-torn country into Europe? And then why the hell does Europe have to take in refugees from other countries when the wars that are waging in those countries, if they're not caused by, they are at least exacerbated by the very same countries who then claim they have to take in the victims of these foreign conflicts? And Neil Oliver's point was, everybody should be outraged at these mass migrations, at these demands for open borders because living conditions in other countries are so bad. Everyone, the national inhabitants and the foreigners who have to flee their own country because of wars that are initiated by and or exacerbated by the very same countries that then say we have to open our borders and take you in because of the wars that we've started and the atrocities that we've exacerbated in your country. But the reality is that that's not how it plays out. You don't get the refugees coming in and saying with the locals, yeah, I hate your local government, because that doesn't work out too well. And you don't have the locals saying, I'm sympathetic for the people who are now invading my country, infiltrating my country, and changing what was the social, cultural, religious demographic. But you get Marine Le Pen in, who says, enough is enough already. And then they have to call her racist, and they have to malign her, and not just her. The people who said, yeah, enough is enough, and I'm going with this candidate. Same thing with Christine Anderson. Same thing with Nigel Farage. I mean, it's to some extent, it's even the same with Pierre Poilievre in Canada, and people think like you're an extremist if you support Pierre Poilievre, but he's a nationalist. He's an Alex Jonesian. It's wild. So these people, while they are doing everything they can to malign, defame, and jail and bankrupt their political adversaries, they are the ones complaining that democracy is under attack. They can't kiss both sides of my butt cheeks fast enough. Sorry to get crass. Yeah, after this, I'm going to scroll right down here. It's an open face. Oh, yeah. Everybody says I should have the thing on this end because I could save some time when I cast, but I can't. There's nothing wrong with being there's nothing wrong with being a nationalist. That means that you are proud of your country. No, they try to like make me feel bad for. I'm a nationalist. What does that mean? You take care of your own country first. Charity starts at home. And as they say, when the airplane's going down or the oxygen masks come out, you don't run around putting masks on other people. You put a mask on yourself first. But yeah, so that's it. We're going to see a populist shift this year. They said 2024 was like the year with the most elections worldwide. I forget how many it was, but we're seeing it. The pendulum swinging back. The biggest question that I have is what is going to be the black swan event of 2024? What's going to be the October surprise? I got dark and sinister thoughts, which I don't even like having because I don't like putting that energy out in the universe. And it doesn't help that it's always been called the October surprise, but this October there's going to be the 1-year anniversary of another October incident. And who was I listening to? It was Jack Posobiec on Alex Jones, InfoWars, I think it was, where he was talking about the amount of times that Joe Biden was talking about Article 5 and the war in Russia, just as the war is winding down. The amount of times they talk about nuclear war domestic violence, and they try to make it look like, they try to make it believe that it's right-wing extremists, white nationalism. That's the biggest threat in America. I gotta tell you, like, I've been in America now for 2 years. I don't talk about my ethnicity, my religion. I don't. It's never the starting point of an argument or a discussion, and it's never the ending point of someone else's position. I've never felt threatened by white nationalists in America. Maybe I'm naive, ignorant, or dumb. I don't fraternize with them too often, even those who might legit call themselves white nationalists. But I don't feel threatened by them. And I, oddly enough, believe that to the extent it's nonviolent, they have the right to believe what they want to believe. What I do feel threatened by, or at least, what I do think is a legit concern that I have, terrorists crossing the border. That effectively, if it's not an open border, it's a porous border. It's not an open border. They're only crossing freely at certain checkpoints. All right, that's good. The boat is not bottomless. It's just got a lot of holes in it. I'm legit scared of that. Gang violence coming over, and just general violence from an open border and the creating of a social system that is untenable. At the very least, untenable in the long term. I'm more scared of the government cracking down on white nationalism than I am about white nationalism. Because I think, I got to tell you, having lived in the States now for 2 years, but having followed all of this crap for a long time now, I would say that the government has been responsible for more civilian deaths than white nationalists. More no-knock raid executions, more FBI pre-dawn raid executions than white nationalists. Now I was going to go down. Ooh, let's see here. Can I do? Oh yeah, stars. So I can go like this. Look at this. So I can actually do this. There you go. Oh, Sunutu medallions are cursed relics created by Chris Chan that ruin the life of anyone they come in contact with. Ricada, Ethan, Ralph, iDubbbz, etc. Okay, well, that's interesting if you're into superstitious stuff like that. I'm not. First of all, life is, what was it? It was Magnolia. Life is not like, well, the man at the end of his life, he's saying life isn't short, it's long. It's long, and he's dying. Life is long when you make the wrong decisions. So I would sooner, not opt for the cursed medallion option of explanations, but maybe just, making bad decisions that, how do I get this off here? Like that? Oh, yeah. So that you make certain decisions, you are increasing the likelihood of bad things happening in life. And then you could say it's cursed and whatever, but you make certain decisions. Life is hard enough when you make only right decisions. When you start mixing in objectively bad decisions, and I'm not saying Ricada is getting what he deserves at all, full stop. I still firmly believe what I put out the first day it happened. I believe he's got a problem that he needs to work on and that he needs to get over. And that involves admitting you have a problem, et cetera, et cetera. That doesn't mean that I think what the government has done is justified or legally correct. But life is hard enough when you make all the right decisions. When you start mixing in drugs, gambling, infidelity, risky behavior, you exponentially increase the odds of something going wrong. And when you start mixing in negative energy, like the Baldwins of the world, like the, what's his face? That other nutbag. Robert De Niro. Can you imagine? Like, I like to think of all the people. First of all, I also genuinely believe that the people who get fixated on the hatred, and I say this in full self-awareness because I loathe Justin Trudeau, but I believe that the people who get fixated on their hatred of Trump in particular, but in general, I mean, it's a projected, misdirected internal hatred and anger that they have. And people who are angry are going to do stupid things at some point in life, going to get into a bar fight, going to fight over a parking spot, and bad things are going to happen to bad people who are bad things are going to happen to people who are filled with hatred. And so, Baldwin is filled with hatred, and that's going to make him an angry person on a day-to-day basis. It's going to make him do stupid and rash things every day, and that's going to increase the likelihood of him doing something stupid. Robert De Niro, same deal. Jack Black, for example, I don't know what his deal is. I don't think he's filled with hatred. I think he's either been blackmailed or is just doing what he thinks is the virtuous thing. But that's it. Trump will mandate more vaccine, it says For Real. I'm going to say no on that one. And let me just highlight that so we can see it. I'm not trying to make fun of you or put you on blast. I say you're wrong. And I actually think that between now and a year from now, Trump is going to reverse course on the Operation Warp Speed, or at least on how it turned out. And if Trump is elected and he puts RFK somewhere in the administration, we're going to start seeing, metaphorically speaking, people, some heads rolling as relates to Pfizer, Fauci, and those other fuckers who lied to us and used us as human guinea pigs so they could make money on the one hand for the pharma companies, exact total control over a population for the government, and rake in the money hand over fist for those in the media who were sitting there selling their souls like the whores that they are for big pharma for those advertising dollars. So that is maybe not so much a prediction, but a hope. People need to go to jail for what they did. All right, what else? If anybody, Kayla's in the house. Kayla Pollock. What about Dan and my lawsuits in Canada? Kayla Pollock. Well, let's talk. Kayla Pollock, for those of you who don't know, she was on the channel. Rendered a Kayla. I still like. I'm not. Some people are going to say, Viva admitted you're religious. I'm not religious, but I still pray and I still believe that there is energy and there are miracles on earth. I was watching Pulp Fiction, and I never appreciated the religious. I mean, I guess I did appreciate it, but the religious tone and the spiritual tone to the movie, where Jules didn't believe that he had seen an act of God. And what happened to Jules in the movie? He got whacked on the toilet, and not the good whack. He got shot on the toilet. Geez, what was Samuel Jackson's name in the movie? You had Jules and Winifred? What was Samuel Jackson's character? And bottom line, Kayla, I still pray and I still hope for miracles. Kayla was rendered a quadriplegic after taking a Moderna booster after having gotten 2 Pfizer jabs. And it's just the most tragic and horrific story, because you want to grab people and, metaphorically speaking, strangle them, to force them to say, who the hell told you that you could just mix and match willy-nilly boosters to jabs? I remember at the time, like, well, if you can't get a Pfizer shot and that was your first one, well, then you can go mix it up with Moderna or get the Johnson & Johnson, even though one was the adenovirus jab and the other one was mRNA jab. Just go fuck here. Your body's not a temple. You're not made in the image of God. You're made in the image of Pfizer, and your body is now a test tube for Pfizer. They told people this. And Kayla, a wonderful person who it's the greatest miracle is not becoming an angry person because of the misfortune of all of this. Kayla got the Moderna booster because she wanted to live a normal life. I think, and there was also some family situations in terms of visiting hospitals. And she was rendered a quadriplegic after the Moderna booster. Goes to the shitty, socialized hellhole of a healthcare system that is the Canadian hospitals, and is told by a doctor it's all in her head. Oh yeah, it's psychological paralysis that you're feeling right now. And now it's suing Moderna. So Kayla Pollock is suing Moderna. Kayla, drop the name of your lawyer, and I know it's USAIND on Twitter. Hussein, great guy, but let everyone know who your lawyer is. She's suing Moderna. Dan Hartman, who is Sean Hartman's father. Sean Hartman passed away 33 days after the Pfizer jab, is suing Pfizer. And I mean, we've talked about this. It'll be repetitive for those who already know this. In Canada, we don't have the PrEP Act, and so there was no immunity given to the pharma companies. But there were hold harmless clauses included in the supply agreements between the government and Pfizer, Moderna, etc., as there was in South Africa, Australia, from what I understand. In America, it was the PrEP Act that immunized the pharma companies. Immunized meaning you can't sue them, Hold harmless meaning you can sue them, but whoever agreed to hold them harmless will come in and assume their defense or hold them harmless for any judgment. That's what we have in Canada, so they're being sued in Canada. And so Kayla is suing. Kayla's also trying to raise money so that she can live the rest of her life with dignity and get the necessities that she needs, because the Canadian healthcare system is so fundamentally incapable of providing it. They sooner and did offer her death under the MAIDS program than they would offer her what is required for life. And okay, it's nice to see in the chat. Dan for $35 million for Pfizer. No, there's not an amount on earth. There's not. I mean, it's trite or trivial to even say. It's like the scene from The Princess Bride, when Inigo Montoya finally gets Prince Humperdinck, or whatever the guy, the six-fingered man. He says, "Tell me what you want. Riches, anything." And he says, "I want my father back, you son of a bitch," and then stabs him. So there's that. So they'll assume 35 million, and then they'll come and try to, tell the government, "Hey, you signed to hold harmless. Come hold us harmless." That's when the government should start saying, "You lied to us, and had you told us the truth, we never would have signed that agreement." The only problem is I don't think the Trudeau government can say that. And so get Poilievre in. But the problem is they're just people are going to want to forget about this. Those who are not victims of it are going to want to forget about it. And even some of those who were victims of it are going to want to forget about it. That time where we all went collectively batshit crazy, were lied to, experimented on, manipulated, damaged. And when we did crazy things to the people we loved, we jabbed our children when we had no idea what the hell we were putting in their bodies. And people would just want to forget about it. Is my face very, very shiny? Ugh. I'm going to have some oh my gosh, I didn't put on suntan lotion. Ugh. What I'm going to do after this, actually, I know what I'm going to do. When I end this, I'm going to keep the chat open, and then I'm going to go do Locals Live and read the chats there. I think we covered some good ground. It's 4th of July, people. Let me end with my thoughts on the 4th of July. And anybody who is in our Locals community already saw it. To be American is a state of mind. It's not a nationality. Because there are plenty of American citizens who, gosh darn it, aren't American. And then there's plenty of people who are not yet American citizens who have that American spirit. And Barnes was doing a bourbon with Barnes the other night, and I think it had to be someone in our community who's relatively new, who might have only heard my recent, explanations for why Canada is the way it is and why Canadians are the way they are versus why America is the way it is, or at least was the way it was, and why Americans are the way they are. And I've explained it in that we are a culture. A country has a DNA. A country has a bit of a history. And it's baked into it, and it becomes self-fulfilling at some point, where Canadians are subjects of the crown. We were bequeathed our freedoms, our rights. We didn't fight for them, and we never defied tyrannical governments to demand our God-given rights. We were just happy when the Queen and the King gave them to us. And Americans ventured into that Wild West, not to justify the things that they did, but just to explain it and understand it. They went into the Wild West. They fought and conquered a land. They fought for their freedom from tyrannical monarchy, kings and queens. And that gets baked into the DNA of the country to the point where, stereotypically, Americans are Wild West, brash, crude, crass, etc. Canadians are nice, prim, and proper, and polite. Well, I genuinely think over the evolution of a country, that determines or dictates or influences who decides to go to which country. I think I see a kid coming out to kayak. Dude, come. So I think that dictates, it becomes something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're looking, you're European, like, do I go to America? Oh, they all drive big trucks and they swear and they're, or do I go to Canada? They're nice, but that's it. The bottom line, though, and Barnes put it right. I don't say that to say that one is better than the other, or that's why Canadians are the way they are in a positive sense. I think it's actually to a bit of a detriment. And that Canadians think being polite and subservient is a virtue, and I don't think it is. Some Canadians. Sir.
Catch anything?
Absolutely. I didn't even have a bite.
I saw a fish.
You saw a fish?
Yeah, I'm not joking.
Well, how big was it?
Like, that big.
Very nice. Do you want a fish?
Sure.
Okay, here, you take this. I'm going to push you off so that I'm going to finish this stream. You go like that.
I almost like drift me back.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll meet you back there. Kid came out a fair distance on a kayak. Spool, flip it. If the kid catches it, his kid's going to catch a fish on the first cast. That's it. First time kayak fishing. And so, I mean, I think...
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? Kids asking what I'm talking about. Everything, baby. Being polite and subservient are not virtues. And in fact, I'm not even sure that being polite is virtuous. Being honest is virtuous. And you can be honest in a polite or an impolite manner. And sometimes being honest would be qualified by some as being impolite. And I might be saying this to justify my own behavior recently, because I have been mightily impolite on Twitter to certain people. They freaking deserve it. And that's it. But no, I think, like, if we're not stereotyping, but if we're generalizing, Americans have a far different perspective of freedom than Canadians. And I think it's baked into the DNA of the country. And there's plenty of Americans out there who think now being a good American is suppressing First Amendment rights, suppressing misinformation and disinformation for your security. There's plenty, and Canada has been on that boat for a very long time. But I don't think those are positive attributes, and I don't think those are necessarily good things. Put a piece of hot dog on the hook. Viva, do your legs get numb being in that kayak? A little bit. I'm gonna stretch them up, but nobody really wants to see. Nobody wants to see down the Netherlands of the Viva Fry groin, but oh yeah, there we go. That's a little better. All right, so I'm gonna just paddle off the game. So this is it, people. Independence Day.
My arm is not.
Independence Day, 4th of July, is a state of mind. It's a state of the human spirit. And when they talk about the American experiment, and I go to Obama's Twitter feed and he's like, the diversity of the American experiment. He's got to throw in that globalist word, the diversity. The only diversity that matters in the world is diversity of thought. You do not have diversity just because you have trivialized humans to their skin color, race, read, or creed. The only diversity that matters is diversity of thought and diversity of perspective. And when you understand that and you look at these jackasses and hypocrites and scoundrels who are talking about diversity because they've reduced the human experience to the color of their skin or where they put their pee-pee, they are actually not at all talking about any form of diversity in a meaningful sense. They are actually talking about ideological uniformity. And those mofos have no business celebrating the 4th of July. What made America great and what will make it great again is diversity of thought, diversity of perspective, diversity of speech. Because it's only through that diversity that you realize you fight tyrants, you don't bow to them. And you fight an oppressive government and you do not become polite and subservient to it. You do not let the government get you to do their bidding for them. The greatest success that the government had during COVID was not that they got away with oppressing the people, but that they convinced a great many people to oppress their neighbor. Testify. That's it. That's where we're ending it, people. So, happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. As I sit here tonight, I'm going to come back out later tonight. It's amazing because we're going to go out. You could see like across the horizon and across the panorama, not the panorama, across the horizon, especially on that side behind me, you just see like random fireworks displays everywhere. And it's a beautiful thing. I might go to the gas station. I think it's still open here. Get some fireworks myself. I'll celebrate vicariously the 4th of July up in Canada. And that's it. Did I forget anything here? Let me see. I'll read the chat. Thanks, Viva. Great show, says Stuart. Happy 4th, says Not a Bot. Is there any way for me to open up? Hold on. What happens if I do that? When I just check, oh yeah, no. So when I left it, let me know something. I'm gonna just click on a window here. When I do that, tell me if I actually cut myself out of the stream. Leaving to go to another website. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Woo! I don't know if you can. Could you hear me? Could you hear me and could you see me when I just went out there for a second? It's an honor to have you as an American, Viva, says Extra Bill. Ex-Terra Bill. I'm not yet American. An American, I will always be Canadian, but I think I've always had the American spirit in me. Did I cut out of the stream when I did that? Because I just went to check. Yeah, I left. Nope. Oh wait, hold on. Your audio, the audio worked. Oh, but I left. Well, I went dark for a second. Well, as far as I just saw, the only website I just went to, if you can hear me right now, I'm on Predict It. Oh no, hold on one second. I'm going to go back to Predict It, refresh. I think if you can hear me, refresh. JD Vance just pulled ahead of Doug Burgum. Get out of here. Oh, yeah, so I think it's kicking me from the stream. JD Vance just pulled ahead of Doug Burgum in the predicted markets. I was going to go see if I could go to Rumble. Well, let me see if I can anyhow. Give me a second. Let me just see this here. I'm going to Rumble. Let me see. Am I live? Very nice. Go to... yeah, I'm not going to be able to get to it if I go to live here. Not viral, live. Yeah, I don't even see myself on the cover page here. Oh, who cares? Okay. My content live streaming. Here. So I cannot see any super chats. Okay. So that didn't work. I was looking to see if I could. Sorry, I was looking to see if I could see the super chat. Hook. Put the hook in, or give it to me. You're still cast. Okay, he's gone. Yeah, I was trying to see if I could see any Rumble rants. We pray that Canada. Let me see. I just saw that here. American is a state of mind, Viva, as you say, says Edwin Jones. We see you here on. We see you and hear me on YouTube. Okay, good. Well, then let me see if I can go to Rumble. King of Biltong's in the house. Well, there's a $50 Rumble rant, and it's from King of Biltong. And I can't scroll down, you son of a beasting. There's a jet ski. Well, I know it's King of Biltong, $50 Rumble rant. Go to Anton USA or Biltong USA and get your Biltong, people. Use code Viva. I think it gives you, what, 10% and free shipping or something along those lines. But Biltong is South African beef jerky. It's Biltong. We got some more at home, right? Anyways, we're having a barbecue tonight. Dude, if you tip, that would be the end of the... So, all right, that's it. So I'm going to end it. I can't... Watch it. Although, let me see if I can go to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Okay, Viva. It's not going to work. Okay, so I can't even do that. All right, locals, I'll have to come and get you afterwards. We're going to end the stream now. We're going to end the stream. Everybody, Americans and those with an American spirit, happy 4th of July. Celebrate independence and understand that it is under attack. In all respects, in all countries, it's under attack. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. Don't let them do anything stupid. Don't let them coax you into doing anything stupid. And I would operate on the basis that if anybody does anything stupid or says that they're going to do something stupid, they are fed boys. And if anything stupid does happen, it's not a false flag in the sense that it's a hoax and not happening. But that's my biggest concern. There will be a lee-hop, a me-hop, or something. And the government will use that to rein in even more control and more suppression. We're going to end it. And we're going to end it on 1.5 hours on the nose. Thank you all for being here. Happy 4th of July. Locals, I will see you soon. Rumble, I'll see if I can get the Rumble rants. And I think we've gotten everything here. People, Enjoy the date. Peace out. I'm going to try to end this in 10 seconds. Can I see the time? 9, 8, 7, 6. Happy 4th of July, people. Peace out. Booyah. Now.